begin. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Hari Om to everyone. I once again welcome you all to the fourth week of Vedanta Jnana Yajna, the Knowledge of India series. Last session, a very quick recap. We spoke, of course, about the three words Vedanta, Jnana and Yajna and their meaning, but we also spoke on the four aspects for knowledge transfer to be perfect. The three words that we spoke: Yajna, the spirit of cooperation; Jnana, knowledge per se; and Vedanta, that knowledge by which our lives can become a smooth, beautiful experience, just as an art. But the literal meaning of the word Vedanta is the end of knowledge. The word Veda means knowledge. The word Anta means end. However, we generally say there is no end to knowledge, don't we? So on what basis does Vedanta say the end of knowledge? Here we need to understand that in the above statement, the word meaning of Vedanta as end of knowledge is pertaining to the knowledge of that particular world and not the knowledge of the worlds. The different topics of the worldly knowledge, but that topic which is closest to us, which is not an objective knowledge, that which is subjective in nature, the knowledge of the self. This knowledge of the self we also call as Paravidya. We will come to this new term, new word later. Where is this knowledge found is the question naturally that arises. This knowledge is found in the Upanishads, the Vedas. Upanishads form the essence of the teachings of the Vedas, of which they, the Upanishads, are the concluding portions. Concluding portion. Hence the Upanishads are known by the term Vedanta, end of knowledge. Since Upanishad, the Vedanta form the concluding portions of the Vedas, literal meaning of the word is end of knowledge. For the benefit of those who are not aware of what Vedas are, let me in short explain. Vedas are an ocean of knowledge, scriptural knowledge, which also deals with the subjective knowledge of the self. That means it has the worldly knowledge also, but it also has a very specific knowledge, which is the self knowledge, the subjective knowledge. Though Vedas are universal in their message, however, Vedas were first heard and then spoken by the great rishis of India, and then lovingly shared with the rest of the humanity. This is a very short introduction to Vedas for those who do not know what Vedas are. Now, since Veda or Vedanta deals with the subjective knowledge of the self, the eternal spirit, to this knowledge there is a definite end, knowing which an individual transcends. What does he transcend? what we think today as our core, the mind-intellect combination, also known as the inner equipment. For example, whenever we say, in my inside I feel so strong about this, when we say in my inner self, inside, what do we mean? We mean in our conviction, in our mind, in our intellect, don't we? Therefore, today, our core for us is our mind and intellect. Upon just knowing the knowledge of Vedanta, a sea change comes in the mind intellect, the inner equipment. This inner equipment, the individual spirit, upon realization of its true, essential, innate, absolute nature, not as an individual mind and intellect combination, but as the self, and realizes its oneness with the divine. The transfer of knowledge, however, has to take place only when all the four aspects come together. This is what we were speaking about last time. Let's very quickly understand this four, what we call as Anubandha Chatushtaya. Anubandha Chatushtaya. What are these? What are the four aspects? 1. Adhikari. 2. Vishaya. 3rd. Prayojan. 4th. Sambandha. And now with the English words together. Adhikari, a competent student. Topic, the Vishaya. Vishaya or the topic. 3rd. Prayojana or the content matter. Sambandha, the co-relationship between the topic and the content matter which the speaker speaks and makes the connection. Only when these four come together, it becomes a perfect transfer of knowledge. Naturally, it all will begin with the student who wishes to know this knowledge. But how can we, the modern human of today, think of the self-knowledge when nowhere in the schools, in the college and the universities this subject is taught? Leave alone being taught, people are totally unaware that such knowledge even exists. Therefore, in the last session, we had spoken about some questions that arise in some very rare of the rarest individuals. These individuals are so rare that when we try to look for them, it feels as though they don't exist. What are these questions which arise in a competent student who wants to learn Vedanta? There are 3. 1. Who am I? 2. What is this world around me? 3. What is my relationship with the world and the God principle, the spirit behind everything? That means if I don't get these questions in my bosom, I cannot learn Vedanta. If this will be the case, then all of us would have been uneducated today. Why? Because none of us as children want to go to school to learn. It is by the pushing of parents that we go to the school. And only just as slowly and steadily we learn the letters of languages, the numbers of mathematics, and the concepts of science. For learning Vedanta too, we must first learn its basics, the terminology, and its concepts must be understood well. Only then can we have the above mentioned questions or the thoughts in our mind. Otherwise, it will not just come, isn't it? Let me very quickly summarize what we have spoken today in our session. 1. What is Vedanta if somebody asks, or what is Vedas? Vedas are an ocean of knowledge, scriptural knowledge, which also have substantial amount of knowledge of the self. Second, the 4 aspects to any knowledge any study, Anubandha Chatushtaya. And finally, for learning Vedanta too, we must first learn its basics, its terminology and its concepts. They should be understood well. Only then we could use it in our lives and very well in our lives. Time goes away so fast. Thanking Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda and my parents for giving us this opportunity to learn and share this great knowledge of Vedanta. Let us end this beautiful session with an unbelievable prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I thank you all, my participants. Hari Om.